Hello and welcome to the second part of the 46.1 PowerPoint. We'll continue where we left off. And we were talking about the SA node and the AV node. These are electrical generating impulses that will have electricity flow through the atria, causing them to contract, or the ventricles causing them to contract. So the SA node causes the atrium to contract, boom, pushing blood down into the ventricles. Then a little bit later, the AV node will contract, pushing blood up out the ventricles into either the arteries going to the body or the arteries going to the lungs. Now, this is done in two phases, we say. The first phase, the systolic phase, is actually when the ventricles are contracting. And then the diastolic phase is actually when the atrium or the atria are contracting. This creates the lub-dub heartbeat because of these valves that we just talked about. So when the SA node contracts, or the SA node causes these atria to contract, you're going to see valves open and close. And when you go to this slide, you'll see that we talk about SL valves and AV valves. They stand for semilunar valves and atrioventricular valves. So when we go back up here, we have different names for those. So you have two names meaning the same stuff, but your mitral valve and your tricuspid valve are AV valves. They're between the atrium and the ventricle. That's where the AV comes from. Your aortic valve and your pulmonary valve are semilunar valves. So if we go back to this slide, you can see during phase one, it says the opening of the SL. Well, that's talking about the aortic and right here, the pulmonary valve. And if you come back to it, when it talks about the AV valves closing, it's talking about the tricuspid and the mitral one. So those valves closing together, snapping shut, actually what create the lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub of a heartbeat. So that's a little bit about the valves. Now, these next slides are vocab words, arteries and veins. You can read about them. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood back to the heart. And then I'd like to talk a little bit about valves coming back to the heart. There's a chance of backflow, especially down in the legs. And you have valves which prevent that backflow. You actually also have muscle contractions of your calf muscles whenever you walk or move, and those muscle contractions help squeeze or push that blood back up to the heart. And then those valves kind of are positioned in such a way to prevent the backflow. And that's important. You know, sometimes you hear about people in planes having to sit for a long time. They might get pools of blood down in their calves because they didn't use those muscles to push that blood back. You also have venules and arteries. These are just smaller arteries and blood vessels, arteries and veins. So blood gets pumped out of the heart into an artery. That artery will break apart into an arteriole before it finally goes to a capillary, and then it'll return to a venule, and then that'll recollect into a vein. And so this is kind of just like the forking of the system. You can read about hypertension here on this slide. Hypertension is just the word for high blood pressure. A lot of times people get older, their blood vessels get a lot of cholesterol buildup, and that makes high blood pressure. That's called hypertension. This slide talks about patterns of circulation. The main one is the systemic circulation. This is the heart pumping blood to the body. Then you have the pulmonary circulatory kind of loop, which is blood getting pumped to the lungs and back. There are also some other subsystems. The coronary circulation is simply when the heart pumps blood out and then it returns right back to the muscles that make the blood, or the muscles that make the heart, excuse me. It returns right back to the heart itself, giving it energy. The hepatic portal circulation takes it to the liver. The renal circulatory system takes it to the kidneys. And you can see that kind of a picture here. And this last slide is just links to Khan Academy videos that you need to watch. Good luck watching them. Make sure you do the 46.1 post questions, and I'll make another video for 46.2 for that day. Thank you.